Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our live session with the Global Education and Training Institute under the hashtag Disruptive Education Movement. Uh, as you all know, this is part of the Disruptive Education Movement, as I said, an initiative by GETI, that is the Global Education and Training Institute, under the guidance of Dr. Sunita Gandhi, with a sole vision to transform education by sharing ideas for change. And we at Getty, we are committed to teachers' training and professional development to facilitate teaching, learning, and sharing wonderful ideas with the world. As you know, this is the unique global movement, the hashtag disruptive education movement, under which we bring education leaders from around the globe. And as promised, today we have with us Ms. Sanchita Basu as our guest speaker, who is an RCI registered special educator with more than 18 years of experience. And she has worked with multiple, she has an experience of working with multiple disabilities and experience of working in special schools and inclusive schools for several boards. And currently, she's attached to a well known school in Pune and has an experience of working in Kolkata, New Delhi, and various cities with renowned brands. And Ms. Sanchita Basu has also presented papers in different educational institutions and national and international publications. Also, she has been a part of it. But today she is here with us to talk on the topic that is inclusive education. So, without much ado, let's welcome ma'am. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, on this forum. And the session is all yours. Over to you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction you have given. And I would like to thank Mrs. Gandhi for giving me an opportunity to say about inclusive education once again. Thank you. And can I start my PPT now?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
So here I go. The topic today is inclusive education. Now, what is inclusive education? Inclusive education is actually inclusion in education refers to a model wherein students with special needs spend most or all of their time with non special, that is, general education needs students. That is what the UNICEF says. And if you ask me what is inclusion, I would say that inclusive education is actually education for all. Now, next, where do we need the inclusion about? Why are we talking so much about inclusion? Isn't it? So it is about that inclusion we need everywhere. Wherever we go nowadays, we need inclusion. Not only nowadays, I will say it is started from the very beginning, but still now we come to know about it and we are talking more about it. That's it. Now, where are the trainings or sensitization for inclusive societies happening? It starts in school, that is, in the school, the government and the private schools that are following different curriculums like NIOS, CBSC, ICSC, IGCSE. Then the colleges, where the general as well as the vocational courses are being designed in such a way that the course can be completed by the children with special needs. Next, if you come to universities, the children or the adults with disabilities can opt for higher studies provided they reach the criterion required. And in offices, many corporate offices encourage employing persons with disabilities. Now, since we are talking about inclusive education and it begins in the school, so we'll talk about school education. And in school, and generally, we can find that there are special schools as well as regular schools. Special schools are always there for the children with special needs. The regular schools admitting children with special needs are generally called inclusive schools nowadays. In India, gradually the number of inclusive schools are increasing. However, there are lots of areas on we have to work on. The schools are upgrading their policies as per requirement, and we need to appreciate the efforts of the authorities of the privately run schools, especially. The government schools are equally contributing in their own way through the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Now, what is the criterion for education? Admission, sorry, for admission in the schools. Now, physical accessibility. We have to always find out how the child should be accessing the school, physical school. So, is there a ramp there, or is there elevators working? If it is in very old school, we cannot change the infrastructure. Then it becomes difficult. Then there should be the level of disability. What kind of disability the child is in? All the children, as we know, that cannot be educated in a regular school, like which has been turned into the inclusive schools. Because if the child is not being at par with the class, like for basic reading, writing, speaking, if they don't have that kind of level, then it becomes difficult. Then it will be better to put them into a special school and keep on improving the child's academics there. Then the chronological age, very important, that chronological age versus the mental age. Often we have seen that some of them are very slow in understanding. But then there should be certain stage where we have to understand that it cannot be possible. 2 to 3 years, it's okay, but still it's difficult when, because other children, if you see physical look wise, the child gets, looks bigger, then becomes difficult. These kind of children get bullied at times, when the child is not being able to understand, and we are keeping the parents are wanting the child to be in the regular school, but then it becomes very difficult for them, the child especially, to adjust with all the other children who are maybe smaller than the child. Now, mode of communication. If the child cannot express the child's needs, then it becomes very difficult for the school to continue with him or her, because if it is very much required, and gradually, if the child has that IQ as and the child is not being able to communicate, then it becomes very frustrating for the child, and it leads to the different kind of behavioral issues. So it's always better to actually train the child how to how to communicate. The mode should be there. If the child is a non-speaking child, the child should be using an augmentative and alternative communication system, or the child should be using sign language, or if the child is not being able to do at all, some of the gestures should be there for the child to communicate. Next is the role of a school administrator of an inclusive school. As a leader of the school, must encourage admitting children with special needs, and it should be like special needs only. It should not be like the ones who are like first generation English medium school goer. They cannot be called like special. They are not dyslexic, they are not dysgraphic, or they are not dyscalculic. They're properly diagnosed, who have got actually neurological disorders. Those kind of children should actually be admitted to the school. Make necessary changes. Physical accessibility, like I was telling, if there is no ramp, or if the elevator is not working for the children, so we need to take care of that. As an administrator, the administrator should take care of it more. Contribute to the curriculum modification. If the child is not being able to continue with the CBSE or the ICC, the authority can always understand that child's problem, and they may think about at least trying to have an NIOS board with the school, so that the child should not be discontinuing the school and can be passing out from there only. Then plan for regular sensitizing programs for the teachers, appoint special educators and counselors, monitor the work of each department, very much important, and clarify the role of teachers, special educator, and counselors. The role of the teachers of an inclusive school, accepting the child with special needs as the part of the class, like just like all other students. Try to understand the need of the child with special needs. It may be difficult. We can, if you go to the special educator or a counselor, they can guide you how to handle it. Motivate the child like the teacher does to all the other children of the class. Mostly nowadays, with all the different kind of sensitizing programs, we can see that there are many teachers who are actually very much sensitive towards these kind of things, but still we have to, it's a learning process, it's a system, so we need to keep on upgrading ourselves. Keep informing the school special educator or counselor, the parents, about the child's behavior and academic performance, how the child is doing, what kind of behavior the child is showing. Everything should be shared. Appreciate the child in front of the other children whenever possible. Please, we all like. So this child also likes it. So we need to appreciate the child whenever possible. Teachers should keep reminding themselves that the child with special needs should be a part of the society. They should be able to be self independent according to their abilities. So, knowing that we should be taking care of things, you will see that there are many schools which have got co curricular activity classes. So, those teachers can, come and share their activities, the child's activities with us, so that, later on the child can be trained to get rehabilitated in that. And I must mention this also, that teachers must pay respect to all the educational boards like CBSC, ICSE, IGCSE, NIOS, and State Board. It's not like that. Whenever sometimes it happens that the child is not performing in a class, and you say that, okay, if you cannot write like this, you should be in the NIOS board or you should be going to the State Board. We should have respect for all the education boards. Now, when we have special educator and counselor in the schools, inclusive schools, there is a difference between their work behaviors. Now, the job description of both of them are different. So, how are they different? I'll just first tell about the special educator and then I'll tell about the counselor. The special educator's role. A special educator does the screening of the child with special needs to understand the level of the child, his or her strengths and needs. The educator makes the IEP for the child with special needs. The educator tries to bridge up the learning gaps of the child with special needs by taking one to one session and in small groups. The educator also helps the teachers in making worksheets, question papers. The educator maintains regular communication between the teachers and parents. The educator maintains individual files and keeps on updating them. That is the documentation which he does. As a part of the RCI registration, they keep on upgrading their knowledge. And the role of a counselor is, the counselor plays a vital role in admission process. He or she takes care of all the children of the school having behavior or emotional problems by taking life skill classes and individual sessions. The counselor needs to maintain confidentiality of the things shared by the children. So many a times it happens that teachers or the children also come and question. So it's required not to ask, because it's always better not to ask. If she wants to share or he wants to share, definitely they will be doing it. The counselor needs to see the discipline of the school and the children. The counselor too needs to keep on upgrading themselves. Now, there are different types of disabilities as per the PWD Act. Now, as according to the latest act, there are 21 disabilities. Now, special educators are trained to teach children and adults who have been diagnosed in one or multiple disabilities mentioned in the above list. They are not substitution teachers appointed by the school authorities. So many a times they are asked to go for substitution or for the support classes. They are not like that. They are actually meant to be working for the children with special needs. Now, how to make a class inclusive? This is particularly I'm talking about the teachers of the regular school. Now, some general instructions for the teachers. Firstly, if you have a child with special needs, the child with special needs should be sitting in such a way that he or she can see the board. Special furniture should be allowed if required. He or she should be able to eye contact with the teacher. Make the child aware about the work to be done in advance. This helps to draw the attention. Sometimes for the blind child, or low vision child, or maybe sometimes for the children with hearing impaired, or for the ADHD children, these are very helpful if you just ask the child and make them be aware of what are the things we are going to do in advance. Calling out the name of the child just before the beginning of the session or the teaching session. Make curriculum modifications as required. Make modifications in question papers as per requirement, and correct the papers according to the rules of the examination concessions given by the education board. IEP made by the special educator should be discussed by the teacher with the teachers. It will help to know the learning style of the child. Now, if the child is an auditory learner, then you will be aware, okay, I have to tell them more. If the child is a visual learner, maybe you can give them some visual clues in this way. The school should be physically accessible for the children with special needs. That is, the classroom, the libraries, the laboratory, the playground, washroom, everything should be accessible. Daily work should be shared by the teachers with the special educators and the parents. That helps to communicate and work out. Try to have a peer educator for the child with special needs. That helps a lot. If you have a, find out a regular child who is actually, who can actually help this kind of special child, then it helps actually. Now, some strategies for making the class inclusive continues. Like if there is a child with visual impairment in the class, teacher must inform the special educator or the parents to have a braille version of the chapter ready in advance. Voice recorder, worksheets using braille system should be arranged. Size of the font needs to be according to the child's understanding, means for the low vision children. Make the child a part of the interactive session. If there is a child with hearing impairment in the class, the teacher must be trained on how to handle the hearing aid used by the child. So if there is, sometimes you may see that the volume increases or volume decreases, maybe the battery is not working. So you should know how to use it. The child must be made to sit in a place where he or she can liberate the child teacher. Whenever possible, teacher can use visual clues as they will be helpful for the child to understand. Now, strategies for making the class inclusive. If there is a child with other difficulties, means suppose it can be a specific learning difficulties, or it can be ADHD child, or it can be autism spectrum disorder child. So for that, the teacher can give a small introduction about the chapter. Use mind maps, charts, videos, PPTs. Give the keywords to learn related to the chapter. This works well with nonverbal children as well as the children with slurred speech, because whenever you are asking any question, if you are not being able to understand what the child is saying, so you can just ask the child to show you. So in that way, read and explain the chapter using diagrams, highlighting the important points, and using voice modulation as and when required. Break the learning task into small steps. Use mnemonics and rehearsals as to help the child remember. Ask the child to narrate orally and maintain a notebook to make the child practice the concepts regularly. This helps a lot because then the child, it's like a reward for the child. When you have started and when the child is being able to do it, the child understands as how much the improvement the child has done. Now, what is the role of an early intervention? This is very important. We know that what are the things we have to do, but then early intervention helps in identifying and providing effective early support to children and young people. So that is the reason we need to have this early intervention in our curriculum. Since the children of preschool are in between 3 to 5 years of age, it's better to identify their developmental delays, if any, and work on improving them through different therapies such as speech, language therapy, then physical therapies, occupation therapies, along with basic education. This helps to enable the child to reach their full potential. This is very important because the intake in the schools are mainly during this preschool stage. So if we detect the child that time only, and if we can correct it, it has been seen that many a times the children does there is so much of improvement that later on they don't even we don't even recognize them as disabled. So it is very much important that we give importance to early intervention. Now, in pandemic and in inclusive education, how can we do it? When this pandemic started, I had to give a lot of some consultations. I had to do some strategy sessions for the schools. So I would like to share this because it is continuing this year also. So I would like to give you some instructions, or you can take it as a suggestion. Like request the parents to sit beside the child during the online classes. Like in first wave, we did not make the child come to this classes, but now since it is continuing, we would always like the parents to come and sit beside the child and do the class. Don't stop the child, because it has been seen that if 1 year of gap is actually a huge thing for them. So please try to convince the parents and make the child sit beside the parent and do the session. Send the work done in class to the parents for learning and revision. Whatever you have done, please make it sure that the child gets it there in the at home also. Take the children with special needs in the breakout room if required. Suppose you have a whole class, and in the support teacher you have a support teacher also, so you can just ask the support teacher, or you can go to the breakout room and explain the child again. Encourage the child to participate in all the classroom activities. Remind the child constantly to submit the work for correction, because then they will understand that there should be a discipline. No? In the morning when they have this online classes, they know, and then there should be a continuous uh, work done at home also. Only then we will be getting the results. So for that reason, it is very important, and always do a correction, give the remarks also. Inform the special educator or counselor about the class activities and the meetings, whatever it is done. Whenever you have a class activity, whenever you have a meeting, so always inform the special educator and the counselor. Then it helps for them also to plan out. I would like to share some of the success stories here. And what we usually are used to is that we know about all the in the ones who we already know about. They have already established themselves, but these are the success stories of the one they to whom I actually personally know, and they are doing quite well in their own fields, like Jija Ghosh, Rahul Singh, Shayande Mukherjee, Sudipendu, and there are many others. They have, been into this process of inclusive education, and today they are into this kind of a, they have all established themselves in their own fields. So Jijadi is working as a project lead. Rahul is, I have taught this child also. Now he is studying, and now he's working actually in a TCS and in an IT department, and it's so nice to see him growing. I have taught Shuripendu also, very naughty he was. Now he has done his psychology honors, sociology honors, and now he's an IT and advocacy trainer at IICP. And Shayandi Mukherjee, if you just Google, you will get a lot to know about him from the thing. So I know them personally. I know that inclusion can be successful because they also have gone through this. And lastly, I would like to say thanks to all my parents, family members, my husband especially, who has been a support to me throughout, my friends, and for cooperating me throughout. And also, I would like to thank my teachers, children, and the parents, colleagues from whom I have keep on learning each day. So thank you so much. And thank you, Geti, once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Pleasure is all ours, actually. Thanks to you for giving us your time today for this session.
My
And
pleasure.
you talked about inclusive education. I think the most effective way where we can give this proper chance, or you can say fair chance, to all the kids to learn and grow uh, for this, and they can actually develop the skills they need actually for to match the level of 20th century. And means, as you explained very clearly about where we are having all the children in the same classroom and in the same school, and the opportunities, the learning opportunities for groups who have been, sort of excluded. They were excluded uh, before, and now we have started. Now people are becoming aware, but still, what do you say on
It's a
the
long way to go, actually. It's a long
yeah,
way to go, but yes, definitely, the schools are working very hard to make it a success. And
mhm,
it's like a motion. I'll not say it's like a motion. We have to keep on, upgrading ourselves,
working
keep
on it?
on
Yes.
working for the children. And since we are working for the human resource, And
Yes.
so that's why we need to take this very seriously and work for them at our best.
Absolutely. Uh, we really see, we all often come across this where the children are excluded because of the race or language or religion or disability. I think now people are becoming aware, but still we as you said, that we need to keep on working on it. And if you talk about the parents, involvement of parents and community, where do you find the progress? Because we still see parents are not really aware, instead of, I would say, that they are not interested in doing anything for their special kids. What do
No, no,
you
no. I disagree, totally disagree. Because,
Okay.
see, in my 19 years of experience, I have found out I had to handle a lot of difficult parents, but once they understand, they really
Mhm.
work. Because in
Okay.
today's, if you see this year, when the results have come out, I could see that the results they are showing, some of them are getting 84%, 86%. Even, means no, all my students, ex students, I'll say ex student. This year, I am not teaching anybody, so my ex students have all got first division mark, and this is the credit goes mostly to the parents also, because unless and until they work, we will not be able to. But yes, it there comes the professionalism, how you make the parents understand. It is not about convincing them. It is about making them understand the child's need and the strength
Right.
and working on them. And in my institution where I have got my training, that Indian Institute of Cerebral Palsy, we have been trained in that way. Like till date, touchwood, I have not got any problem with parents.
That's great.
Initially, as soon as they start, but then they understand that how the things are, and then they work. And this is not only with me. Even if you ask others also who are the pass out, mostly that is our forte actually, the strength
Okay. So that's
of our
great.
work.
I mean, good to know about the progress, that yes, now even parents are involved.
Yes,
I would say
absolutely.
only, yeah, that's good to know. I mean, we are progressing with it, and parents are aware. The community, if we talk in total, we all are working together for it. And you talked about the online mode
Absolutely.
also, especially in last these 2 years, we have seen it all. And for them also, you shared ideas how parents can help children
Yes, because
while
there
their
have been
classes,
seen, we have
etc.
seen that there are many, that students, the number of students are increasing, because last year they thought that if it is an online class, though we will stop the child, we will not use this mode.
Right.
But then
Right.
now when the children are coming, we are seeing that the learning gap has increased, and maybe we could have rectified the child's problems there. So we need to, and make the parents understand that it is nothing, because in this pandemic, the way the teachers are working, the way we are working, it is like
Right.
double students we are getting, because we are getting the parents sitting beside us, beside the child. So it's okay. It's
Hmm.
in a way it's good for the special needs children. I'd say that this year we don't have any bullet cases. We are not getting any bullying cases. We are getting, the parents are getting to know, the parents are getting trained, as well as we
Yes.
are also learning some strategies from the parents, because we are all sitting together and sitting and learning each from each other. So it's a nice thing.
Right.
So each and
And if we are
everything is for
working
the
on
children.
it, yes, if we are working on it from the very beginning, I think we can. We are somehow training the students also. The
Yes,
peers,
absolutely.
uh,
That's what I'm saying.
because
Early
yeah,
intervention, as well as the earlier it gets detected, the better it is.
yes,
We can develop, and each and every when we are in the universe we have come, so we have got, each and every one has got a strength, and we should use that strength. If you go to a vegetable seller in the market, maybe that person doesn't know how to read or write, but then that
mm-hmm.
calculation they do is so fast. It's like
Right,
sometimes we need the calculator, but for them it
true,
is so fast. So then we need to understand, we need to appreciate that. So similarly for the special needs children also, each and everybody has got a strength, which we need
yes,
to use them for making that learning gaps reduce.
and actually, consider and appreciate, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So I think overall wonderful session, very informative and very inspiring as well. And there's a long way to go. We are on it. We are on the track. We are working on it. Schools are also now aware. You talked about the setup. You talked about the strategies, how the school administration can work on it and come up with something for
Actually
to
the
be an
time is so
inclusive
less, so
school.
I thought that I'll just just could not explain so many things because the time is too less. But then I
But I
thought that
think,
it's like a
yeah,
motion. So we need to keep
it
on.
we'll definitely connect again
Yes, sure,
to
sure,
talk
always.
further in
There are
detail
many
on this
good people
topic.
around who are working, who are doing good work, and they need to come up and share their experience, and let's learn from each other always.
True, very true. So, thank you so much. I think it was wonderful having you on this forum of Getty with us. Thanks a lot for giving us your time today. And
Thank
I'm
you for
sure
giving me
this
this.
will definitely motivate the viewers out there watching this session. And in case you have missed it, you can quickly press the button and replay from the beginning, as you have so much to take away from this session by Sanchita ma'am. So thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot once again on behalf of our entire team. And thank you all the viewers for joining in. In case the viewers have any question, they can post it in the comment section. Ma'am will definitely try to answer them as and when possible. So yes, thank you, ma'am. Thanks once again on behalf of everyone. Thank you, viewers. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Have a
Welcome,
great
ma'am.
evening too. Bye bye.
Same to you, ma'am. Bye bye.
Bye.